I know a full range of motion is best, but is there ever an appropriate time to incorporate partials?
But when you watch high-level athletes lifting weights, like if you watch basketball players doing, they'll do quarter squats, they'll do trap bar deadlifts from an elevated position. There's value because they're training specifically for a range of motion they're going to be using the most power and the most performance in during their game.
Maximizing and generating power where they're most likely to do it. And, that's not necessarily in the bottom position of a squat.
That's right. And now it's not to say they don't do full range of motion training, but when you're at that level, partial rep training can be beneficial because you can specifically target a range of motion.
Risk versus reward.
That's right. That's right. Because it's less risky, right? It requires less stability.
Right.
When I'm training someone who's hypermobile, and I haven't had a lot of clients like this, and I don't push them as low as I can. I stop them short and have them create tension to try and make themselves stronger before we even attempt to go into the deeper ranges of motion.
We are a team ass to grass squats, and that's how everybody should be squatting. And there's going to be exceptions to the rule, and there's going to be a major individual variance by everybody that you train. So I'm talking about the general population I'm training. How do I decide if I'm going to squat with them to just 90, a little bit below 90, or ass to grass? And that is if they have the capability to go there. And a lot of people, because they hear us talk about and promote deep squatting, assume that some people haven't done the prerequisites to get to a really good deep squat. Sure, they can get there, but their mechanics are awful getting down there, and they're risking more by injuring themselves. And then as you get deeper into 90, sure, you can still do it, but form breaks down. You don't have any business doing it, like most likely the hips, thoracic mobility, ankle mobility, addressing the areas that you lack mobility in. Are they ready for that full range of motion right now? And when I assess them, a lot of people are not. That doesn't mean that I want to justify them doing partial reps or not going through full range of motion because they can't right now. It's okay, we can't do it safely yet right now. My goal now is to give you the tools to work towards that.
Yeah, what we mean is use the fullest range of motion that you have complete control over, not the fullest range of motion, period. So most people don't have full control and stability in perfect form all the way down. If you want to gain the widest spectrum of strength and you want to build more muscle effectively, full range is superior to partial range, all things being equal. In other words, full range with good control versus partial ranges with good control. In fact, the book was selling partial rep training, and this theory was, hey, full range of motion is good, but partial rep training is better because you can use so much more weight. And what they found was doesn't work. It actually doesn't work at all. Full range of motion is superior even with lighter loads for building more muscle. And again, that wide spectrum, wide ranging type of strength. Not trying to get you to, be, the best at one particular thing.
He was making the case like how valuable the leg press is. But when he's talking about how he utilizes it towards the end of a workout after he's done heavy compound lifting and his muscles are fatigued, it allows him to push without the risk of really hurting himself. And so, and here we are, guys who's talking about, the leg press is terrible. Well, yeah, for the most part,
a less risky way to build volume in your workouts.
Exactly, and that.
So partial rep training, aside from correctional purposes, there's not a ton of value for the average person. For athletes at super high levels, there's a lot of potential value.
Now, what about single joint movements, like in comparison to compound movements?
For partial repetitions? Yeah. From a correctional exercise standpoint, I can see potential benefit. But, partial on a single joint movements typically you can use a fuller range of motion.
When you're in a hypertrophy phase and all your desired outcome is to just get a massive pump, partial reps will do that. It gets the similar benefits as like blood occlusion. Mm-hmm. So there is a person in a category and a time where that can make sense. Right. Have I ever done a small pumping bicep curls or tricep push downs? because that's what I'm looking for right there. I already lifted the heavy weight before. Now all I'm trying to do is to pump as much blood as I possibly can in this muscle, feel that burn, and then I'm out of there because I'm looking for sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. That's the benefit I want. But again, to the point we're trying to make, for the average person,
it's very short-term benefit, if any.
And little, and very little. Very little splitting hair type of argument. Most people should be sticking to the basics, getting better at the basics,